Hi there, good morning and welcome back to Prime Morning. It's the news flash and news review segment, and it's a pleasure to be here on the set and back on the set. And let's get into some newspapers now. Of course, it's been a very wet morning so far. The rains have been pouring down quite heavily. And you can share with us the situation in your area at the moment, and can send it to us on our WhatsApp number. Just give us an insight into what's happening in your community at the moment, this morning. All right, and also please try and stay very interactive. Let's start with the daily graphic this morning, and it's got one health agenda. Mahama rallies action against health threats, initiate move at Lyon summit. And you can see the president alongside the French president, Emmanuel Macron, in a handshake. And it's going to be there for a while. Then you've got oncology nurse launches initiative to improve cancer treatment and survivorship. And engineers and planners wins diamond mining lease. And we've got the picture of the CEO, Ibrahim Mahama there. Big development there. We'll be talking about it on the show today too. Then oil palm fan will create coherent ecosystem and boost supply. Is also captured on the front page of the daily graphic. So that's what we've got there. And also we've got the Inside newspaper, and on the front page it's got conflict of interest concerns emerge over planned $100 million Exim Bank facility to Heath Goldfields. Major development there, and really interesting development there. We'll get more into it. And you've also got reject flawed Bogoso Pristia mines inspection report by acting chief inspector. That's stakeholders urging the minister. And Palestine calls for global action over Israel death penalty law. And you've got Trump's Iran war is not going great for NATO alliance. And the Lands and Mines Watch backs ENP Daman Award, demands results and accountability is also there. And you've got Veep installed Mamaga Ajagba the first and pledges major terrorism push there. And you've got Deputy Interior Minister fingered in Teshi Agbawi, Lanchi land martyrs, but denies claims. It's also there on the Inside newspaper. Then on the Daily Gist newspaper, it's got the OSP at the top right corner, and it says OSP raids fuel depots. Interesting. And also, you've got the picture of the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, and it says Mahama grooming Julius Debra for 2028. That's the question they're asking there, the Daily Gist newspaper. Then apologize over anti-LGBT deceit. NPP tells president. And Reverend John Intim-Fojo is there. We'll be talking about that today on the show and on the news review segment. We'd really love to hear your thoughts on some of these stories. Ibrahim grabs $15 billion juicy diamond mine. And we've got Ibrahim Mahama picture there. And pay cocoa farmers, not party executives. And the Dompre fires and the NDC is also there. The Ghana losing 18 billion. Ghana cedis from tax cuts is also on the front page of the Daily Gist newspaper. Now, when you go to the Ghanaian publisher, it's got Richard Ni Amakwe there, and he says Richard Ni Amakwe's ex-wife fights divorce ruling with new lawyers. Interesting. And you've also got Jerry Ahmed Shaib is there, and he says detach politics from business. That's a minority call to government. And Gomwa Easter Carnival boost local economy. That's a major development this weekend. I've been watching Joy Prime. It's been your number one media partner for that event in the last 4 days, and brought you comprehensive coverage of that Gomwa Carnival, and it's going to continue into the foreseeable future. So it was fun, and all the people in Gomwa definitely had some good fun, just as we also did here Joy Prime. And NPP Precious NDC on LGBTQ+ is also here. And my final two newspapers has got the Accra Times. It said, Business Forum, BAG Governor touts Ghana's economy. And also still on the Kweu Business Forum, minority commits to support indigenous businesses. And Sanyerugu MP praised and honored is also there. 24-hour market for Bimbila is also there as Minister Ali Adolf cuts sword. And the Northern Region Minister hosts Parliament's Public Accounts Committee. And they've also got All Hail Alhaji Hussein Fuzak is also on the front page of the Accra Times. Well, these days, very interesting things you see on the various newspapers. All Hail Alhaji Hussein Fuzak over construction of 3-story classroom block for an Islamic school. Then on the Economy Times, my final newspaper, it's got NPL risk cast shadow over Ghana's economic recovery amid BOG rate cuts, and the S&P affirms Ghana at B-/B amid debts and economic restructuring is all there. And Ghana signals manufacturing ambition as Easter festivities blend culture with commerce is there, all from the Kweu Business Summit. So that's the major headlines on the various newspapers there. And the LGBT, of course, is also dominating it there. And a few other matters relating to, the Gomwa Easter Festival and the Daman mine, which has been handed to Ibrahim Mohammed's ENP. And of course, the minority are also still on their cocoa crusade. So that is continuing, and we'll bring you more on that. Well, let's get into our discussion briefly now. And I've already got some of my guests in studio. We'd love to hear from you on all of these issues. What do you make of government's move to hand the Daman mine to ENP? What do you make of it? Of course, the argument is it is a major boost for local inclusion in the mining sector. It's a major boost in that regard. And the government did indicate that they had a criteria which every company was invited to submit their interest in it. Companies did submit, and after scrutiny of the criteria, it was ENP who emerged the best at it. I think they scored some 93%, and they were handed the mine, a lease for that matter. Well, the LGBT matters are also still trending. Of course, this follows the president comment that it is not a priority at the moment, and the government spokesperson Felix Kwachi Ofosu has also reiterated that point, that it is not a priority for Ghanaians. But the minority say, when you consider how the opposition at the time, NDC, campaigned on the promise that they will sign the bill into law, it is surprising that it's been described as not being a priority. And they are saying the president has just been negligent on this and shying away from appending his signature. So we'll try and interrogate the issue and see if indeed that is the case. Well, already in studio with me is a member of the NDC Communications Team, Abdullahi Sakra, is in studio, and Awal Mohammed will also be joining us very briefly. He is on his way. Most definitely the rain probably has delayed him a bit. Anyway, Abdullahi, good morning. Good to have you again once more. Good morning. How's the morning for you this?
Oh, I'm doing good. How was your Easter?
It was great. We've been working, so you can imagine. Man, you just managed.
Forgot your country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a rainy morning, hasn't it?
But since we are serving Ghanaians, we have to.
Which side, part of Accra, were you coming from?
Nungwa.
How was it like?
It's okay. At least we are doing the road, so definitely there will be one or two challenges, but at least we know how to use the road. So yes, but everything is okay.
And the traffic was okay.
The traffic was okay. You wake up early morning like 4:30 a.m. and there is still traffic. You understand? So that shows that rain or no rain, Ghanaians are always working.
And the interesting thing about rain also is that whenever it rains, particularly in Accra, it's almost like everything comes to a standstill.
Yeah. You see, it is because of our road system, our road network. And we say a big thanks to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for bringing the big push, which is targeting every single road in Ghana here. And I think it is one of the best things that we have ever had. So a big thanks to him, because I just don't understand why 2026, this year, and even in Accra, our roads are bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's still flat, not just road. If you look at the drainage system in Accra,
Exactly.
it's still a major issue. And every time it rains, the slightest downfall, places get flooded.
The only solution to it is that we should replan Accra. We still have Pampram, we have Dawa, we have Chopoli, we have Afienya, we have Amasamai. Those are areas that we need to replan and redevelop very well. We have to be strategic about what we are doing. And I think moving forward, these are the things that we need to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's very profound, because there are some areas that are developing now.
Sure.
And it's surprising to me that the assemblies are sitting there unconcerned, not insisting on the original plan for the area.
Sure.
Because if you look at areas like Ablekuma, Mania, Fan Milk, for instance, there was a fine opportunity to ensure that the original plan works.
Sure.
But, you know, you talk about some of the areas that are now developing, Pram and all of those areas. Sure. The plan, I'm sure there is a plan, right?
There's a plan. There's a plan. Every community, every assembly has their plan. But the issue is that do they insist on the law? You go and find out someone building without permit.
Yeah.
Someone building without the authority knowing that he's building somewhere. And that should not happen.
Is it really the case that they don't know someone is building? They
It's the
often
case.
know that
They don't
someone
know.
is building.
Trust me, they don't know.
Because really,
Yes, they
how
don't
can
know.
someone
You see,
raise a building in Accra
Yes.
and the authorities do not know? That's really surprising.
Yes, because they see the links between the chiefs and the assembly, there's a huge gap. There's no communication. The chief knows that there's building, but do the chief insist on the permit? No. So this is a time where the local authority has to work with the chiefs to know that, look, no matter how, if someone wants to put up even a kiosk or anything, you need to notify the assembly. You need to get a permit.
But some of these buildings, you know, you can talk about the least developed areas or some of the emerging towns and cities in some outskirts of Accra. But there are some parts of Accra which have developed today, and you see the assembly going around, bringing down sometimes 2-story building, 3-story building, and they say, well, you've built illegally. How did you sit by for somebody to build a 2-story or 3-story structure, and then later come months later and say, oh, you've built an illegal structure, we are bringing it. It cannot be that they did not see it.
Sure, it's 100% true that they do not see. They always see it. As I said,
they just turn a blind eye. So when things begin to happen, then now like, let's try and go and bring down the structure. It's unfortunate.
It is all down to the assembly, the communication between the assembly and the local authority, which is the chiefs and the people. We have to work together. We have to be focused and make sure that we develop Ghana and develop it very well. And that today, whatever someone is doing at their little corner, one day affect you. That's why when it's just a little rain, then everyone is dancing.
Yeah, I think our local governance system really needs to be, looked at seriously, because I always say that if we get our local governance system right, if we're able to get our assemblies, our municipal assemblies right, all the reliance, all the time, this central government reliance and always looking up to Joe Mahama or Minister Agboja, and that if we are able to put some strong accountability on our DCs, MCs, and assembly members, I think we'll develop Ghana. Sure. That's the reason why we are still where we are.
And 100%. I remember when I was an assembly member in Nungwa Boadi, which is Black SL West, there's so many things happening which I know. And look, a clear case of this.
And Abdullah, just hold on briefly. Awal is joining us very shortly.
Okay.
So let's just take a very quick 10, and then he will join us, and I'm sure he will have a bite on this, and we'll see the way forward.
The opposition leader. Oh no, he shouldn't.
Oh, he's the opposition leader?
Oh yeah.
But what your market is that for?
Oh no, he's the opposition leader.
Really?
Oh yes.
Okay, we'll try and understand his role, how he ended up as opposition leader. All right, stay with us, guys.
sorry,
Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, Awal has now joined us. Really good to see you, Awal. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Good to see you.
He called you opposition leader. I'm wondering, for a moment, I was worried that he's taking Afenyo Markin's position from him. Yeah, why do you call him opposition leader?
He's not
on social media,
he's Dr. Baumia. He's the opposition leader.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Understand?
Yes,
Not
fair enough.
Afenyo.
Yes.
Afenyo is the leader.
The leader of the minority,
in Parliament.
Yes.
He's our leader, opposition leader in Parliament.
Yes.
But
the national opposition
leader is Dr. Baumia. He has been elected by the party to be the opposition leader. So he's
and you are taking such a big position.
No, so you see, he was just trying to let you know that the opposition leader in Parliament is who?
Afenyo Markin.
The opposition leader in their party or in Ghana is Dr. Baumia. Now the opposition leader and propaganda leader on social media is
okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. I think I will accept that. I will accept that.
You see, in our party, we don't have propaganda secretary. It is the NDC after its formation in 1992 that crafted that office. And they crafted that office deliberately because of Goebbels. I know you've read about it, the propaganda secretary for Hitler.
Yeah.
He says, when you repeat lies over and over again, it becomes truth in the ears of people. So when the NDC came, they formed their party in 1992, had propaganda secretary. To the extent, one of their propaganda secretaries said the NDC is an election-winning machinery. The late Vincent Hassisi. He said it's an election-winning machinery. So they can win the elections with all the lies, but when it comes to governance, they are last.
Really?
Yes.
You think so far they've been last when it comes to government?
This time?
Yeah, so far.
In the last 1 year, what is working in this country?
Should I tell you what is working? Thank you so much for telling him that. Should I tell you what is working? Should I tell you what is working? No mobile money again. Now, if I do mobile money and I'm going to pay e-levy, it is no more, which they introduced. That is what is working. Our roads, which are also the reason why he's late today is because of bad road, which we are fixing.
But he hasn't said that the reason why he's late is
he is telling us what is not working, and I'm telling him what is working. Look, 100% assurance to Ghanaians that every single word we told Ghanaians in our campaign moment, we are delivering it one after the other. What is my brother telling me here? You have 8 years and you destroy Ghana and you come and sit here instead of you to tell us and congratulate us for doing everything that we are doing. Didn't you bring e-levy?
Yes.
So what are you telling? Didn't we scrap the e-levy? It is not here that you will come and tell us about e-levy. All what we know is that the word e-levy, you introduced e-levy, and we told Ghanaians when we come.
But you asked him what is
exactly, and I'm telling you, when we come, we will move it. You are not here to. You are not here. No, he is not here to explain e-levy. What Ghanaians want is to make sure that we have scrapped it, and it has been scrapped.
You know what we're going to do? It's been a very rainy morning, and I'm sure people will really love to. Hear you in a very calm tone.
Oh no, this was just greeting Ghanaians as happy good. No, you see, it is not about we using left or taking right. All we are saying is that it's not about you explaining. We are not doing e-levy today because Ghanaians are tired of. Ghanaians are tired because we have already scrapped it. So let's talk about it.
Fair enough.
It has been scrapped.
Okay,
what are you talking about? It has been scrapped, so we don't need to talk about it. It has been scrapped.
Okay, Abdullah, let him make.
You can't learn on it because it has been scrapped. There's no more.
I think we'll move on.
My brother going to talk about it again.
Anyway, well,
it has been scrapped. There's no way you do it.
All right, one thing that
that's all.
Well, one thing, Abdullah, you mentioned that what do you call it? You made a promise and you're delivering it on most of the promises that you've made. But one of the things that the minority in Parliament are accusing you of deceit has to do with the LGBTQ matter.
Yes.
And of course, that story is here in the Daily Gist newspaper. And he said the already heated national debate over LGBTQ related legislation has taken a sharper political turn as the opposition NPP is demanding a formal apology from President John Dramani Mahama, accusing him of reneging on a key campaign promise that helped secure his return to power in the 2024 election. At a press conference at the NPP headquarters yesterday, Member of Parliament for Asan South, John Etimfojo, speaking on behalf of the minority, said the president had failed to honor commitments made to religious leaders, traditional authorities, and the broader Ghanaian public regarding the introduction of a government-sponsored bill to address LGBTQ issues. Great. So this is what the minority is saying.
Yeah.
Now, let me just bring in Awal to help us appreciate exactly why they think the president needs to apologize to the people, especially when the bill is yet to come to his desk for him to sign, and it is still in Parliament. I mean, the bill is still going through its natural progression. Still in Parliament, has not yet gotten to the president. So why are you asking the president to apologize over something that is still in the pipeline?
Okay. So thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to my brother. You know, we're from the same constituency as our sister.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Very familiar.
Yes, so I think what the minority is saying, it is not really minority saying, but we're speaking with the voice of Ghanaians, including yourself, because you are also against the LGBTQ, and you are for it to be signed into a law. So we did not really go there to address the press conference just to tell the government to do it, but we're telling them that one of the reasons you won the elections was the LGBTQ. Went around, we had the clergy procession in this country. You had all the respected men of God, to the extent that they use a lot of unprintable words against the president. You remember when the pastor said the nonsense must stop? You understand? They use all these things and said that indeed the president, I sat on this table and said, I wish President Akufo-Addo signed it. I sat on this platform and said it several times that I wish he signed it at the time that they even sent it to him. You had our imams in the Zongo calling on Dr. Mahama to make his stance known. Dr. Mahama went to Kumasi to celebrate Eid al-Fitr with us. That was when he said he is a Muslim. The tenets of his religion doesn't even subscribe to it, not even talking about it. He is against it. And if his boss does not sign till the end of his tenure, he will sign it. That was a commitment. Even with that, the number of things that were said against him, said, convince your boss to sign it to show that indeed you have that commitment. The NDC went to Asin-North, and the entire campaign in Asin-North by-elections was that if you vote for Akufo-Addo, he needed one person in Parliament to be able, if you vote for the NPP candidate, he needed one person in Parliament to be able to stem the tide and make this LGBTQ a law in this country that they will have their rights. I was in the mosque when the MP for New Edubiase in Asen Praso inside the mosque stood up to say that he is from Parliament and that is the agenda of this government to be able to introduce LGBTQ. We lost that elections. We came general elections. We lost again. The president told his people, he told the church that he worships with Assemblies of God. And they are against it. And he will make sure he will sign it. These are commitments by the president. Leave the things that even the sponsors and almost all the people, including himself, said about it. But this is the commitment by the president to the people of this country, including the clergy. He said, when I come, I'll sign. He didn't even say that it will expire. He said he will sign. But you see, from all indications and from the narrative and where it started, especially from the person who even started that advocacy, who led that advocacy, Sam George, he said he did that to make sure that their party that lost elections heavily in 2016 will come up and win elections again. This is something he wrote on his Twitter handle and on his Facebook handle. That indeed, when their party lost elections badly, had fewer people, members of parliament, had people who were not ready to even sit on TV and radio to do it. He stood and did that. And in 2021, after they lost the elections, he decided out of his own ingenuity to introduce this thing.
No, but that's not to suggest, that statement by him is not to suggest that he supports LGBT, right?
You see, he told us that the president was not committed. He mentioned, he even gave a history of someone the president had lived with. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
Had lived with in the UK. And that person is LGBT person. So it means the president supports it. He said all this is to the extent that when the media asked him, it was a Joy FM reporter who asked him that if you win the elections and the president doesn't sign it, what will happen? He said the President Mahama will have trouble with me if he doesn't sign it. Today, when people were calling on him to come and fight the president to sign it, he says he did that to support his party.
But except it's not on the desk of the president to sign.
I'm saying that. He did that to support his party. In 2021, when they started the advocacy and were attacking Akufo-Addo, it was not on the desk. 2021, when they started that advocacy, it was not on the desk of the president. Even the time we went to Asimov, it was not on the desk of the president. But they used it against the government. Today, they are in government. And you see, what is so disingenuous on behalf of the president is when the Catholic bishops visited him earlier after he won the elections. They got to him and he told them that he was committed at doing it. Fast forward months later, he said, well, we should only try to change our curriculum to feature it so that we even do education that the law will not even be necessary. That day I was in this studio and I mentioned it. And I posted a video 3 days ago. I said the bill is dead and it will remain dead until this government leaves office. This is something that I said in 2025, a year ago. And today, the president is justifying saying that it is not on the banner. It is even not necessary. And what really makes my heart bleed is when yesterday, Felix Kwachu-Ofosu, speaking on Joy News, said that he was asking your colleague, Kenneth, that when you wake up in the morning, what is really your pressing issues? How to bath, pick your car, come to work and work diligently. So it is not their priority. Something that the president said, if I am voted for, I will sign.
Yeah,
now he told us that, well, it has expired with the old government. Now he wants to introduce it as government-sponsored bill.
But the speaker rejected that. The speaker is from
when they even brought it in parliament, they had to take it off the other paper. Yes.
But we know the process has started in parliament.
Which process again?
We know the process has started.
There is no bill in this country that has enjoyed a public discourse than this bill. For 3 years, they were even hearing in parliament for those and for those for and those against. To the extent that every group were given the opportunity to go and make a presentation. They did all these things. What is wrong with the current bill that President Mahama said if he was elected, he will vote, he will sign? What is wrong with that bill? There is nothing wrong with that bill. Now the president is telling us that they should go back and look at some clauses and take them out. When you were on the neck of Akufo-Addo to sign, you see, the thing is that if we are not careful to get to a time as politicians, we promise something and the people will never take us serious. They only vote for us on default, but they will never take us serious. You see, now in 2024, there were 2 countries that were really doing this, especially the opposition members. In Senegal, the opposition member, the opposition presidential candidate, promised that they even had a law already, promised that he would tighten the law and make it unattractive. Today, he has signed it into law. Today, if you are engaged in LGBTQ, you go to 10 years in hard labor. If you even bring it on a banner like this for a discussion on a radio, you still be jailed. The panel members, the media house, and those engaged will also be jailed. So that you will not even hear anything about it in Senegal again. It will only remain in the rooms. And you see, I have always maintained this, that these people are doing public relations campaign. It is not the rights that they want in this country.
I want to come to Abdullahi briefly, though. But
let me just
just before you end, I'm just looking at the president's statement there, and if you look at it closely, I mean, what about what he said is the problem? Because he says, for instance, and I quote, "We are still grappling with the provisions of basic needs of education, healthcare, jobs, food, clothing, and shelter. And this," he said, "is why it is not the most important issue we face as a nation."
So in 2024, there were no issues of shelter, school, and others. When they said we had destroyed the economy, an economy we picked at 167, a value of 167 to 1 trillion. That was the economy we built. That was the economy we left. We left an economy with over 330 tons of gold. That is now holding the economy.
But for the average Ghanaian at Circle, for instance, between food, clothing, and shelter, and LGBT, which do you think he will prioritize?
So in 2024, when they were doing all these things, they were not priorities. Food, clothing, shelter were not priorities. Razak, you're supposed to ask the questions. But these are the questions you shouldn't even ask, because his spokesperson, Minister for Government Propaganda, has come out to say that it is not their priority. So they will not even sign it.
Interesting. Let me come to Abdullahi. You'll come back on this. Abdullahi, I mean, you can understand the concern they have. That you knew in 2024, these were the priority needs of Ghanaians.
Sure.
Yet you trumpeted this LGBT issue, weaponized it, it got you power, and then you suddenly come and give us an impression that, well, this is not your priority because this is not the priority of Ghanaians. The priority of Ghanaians have always been known.
Sure.
Yet you politicized it and got your political gains from it.
Thank you so much.
So why you can understand the impression you are creating in the minds of Ghanaians, right?
Thank you so much. I think I'm very happy my brother is struggling to talk about this particular issue. I know he stands as a Muslim, and I know very well that he stands against it. I have no doubt about it. But unfortunately, the party that he belongs to is making it difficult for him to talk about it, which I appreciate very well. So I will not attack my brother personally, but I will attack their party personally. So look, this is Daily Guide 2024, and if your camera will see, this is Nana Akufo-Addo being advised by his minister, Finance Minister, that anti-gay bill, Ghana to lose 3.8 billion World Bank funds. This is Daily Guide 2020. BBC carried a news and said Ghana's Finance Ministry urges President not to sign anti-LGBTQ bill. This is it, and I'll give it to you for you. Ghana Web says, passage of anti-LGBTQ bill, Ghana likely to lose 3.8 billion. See, the finance minister is advising the president not to sign because Ghana is going to lose 3.8 billion. This is the BTFT online, which is a business online. I think you have it's also saying anti-LGBTQ bill, Ghana raised 3.8 billion lose in World Bank financing. This is African News. Finance Ministry warns countries stand to lose 3.8 billion over controversial LGBTQ. More and more and more under their leadership. Look, a clear cut. The bill that we are talking about.
So the point here is what?
Yes. No,
that they didn't sign it because of the money they will lose.
Exactly. That is their fear. That is what they told us. That because of the money they will lose, they won't sign it. Look, the question that we should be asking is that, did the bill get to Nana Akufo-Addo to sign? Yes. Did he sign? No. Why? Because they don't want to sign it. They are just talking.
But we know there was an issue in court.
What issue? Who among? There was issue in court when he was signing the e-levy to kill his own people. Did he listen to the court? No, he signed. Once the case was still in court.
But too wrong.
So what has changed? Exactly. So what has changed? So they don't have any moral right to talk about this LGBTQ. They don't have it because you had every opportunity to sign it. You didn't. All your ministries, all your people around you advise you. I don't know my brother even advised the president not to sign it because I know very well my brother will not do that. But with all evidence that we have, they advised the president not to sign, and the president didn't sign. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama from day one has made it clear that he is against it. Just recently in US, when he went to US, you saw what happened with the university taking off his is it doctorate? Just because honorary doctorate, just because of these issues that we are talking about. Every single person in this world knows the stand of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. One, the bill we are talking about right now, is it in front of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama? No, but he has told us and told us that when he comes in front of him, he will sign it. What is our fear? Ghanaians trust His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and that is it.
No, but when the president says it's not priority, clearly the concern there is that it will take a very long time before it gets to his table, because all other things will be prioritized.
Please.
It means that every other thing that goes to Parliament, which is government business, will prioritize over the bill. So before the bill will finally come to his table, it's probably going to take some time.
Just this morning, when I was listening to your program, one of your presenters made mention fellow Ghanaians.
Yeah.
He listed the priorities of what Ghanaians need now currently now. What do we need now? We are not battling with LGBTQ as so choke that we have to do it. No. That is a statement that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was quoted to have said. And the truth is that out of the whole presentation that he did, that was the only word that they found very important. And the truth is that, is it our priority in Ghana here more than our roads? Is it our priority more than our daily life, our educational system, our healthcare? Is it our priority? No. Our shelter, up to now, our children are still in school under trees. They are still there. Up to now, we can't have 3 meals a day. Our roads are bad. We are talking about it this morning. Is that our priority? The truth is that no matter how, by the end of the term of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he will sign it. He will deal with it. We have a listening president. We have a president that we all trust. So I don't get my brothers.
But the problem is that when you had senior members of the party, like Sam George, who is now the Minister for Communications, making it his primary objective, leading the charge in that regard. You had Francis Xavier Susu also leading the charge in that regard. And even had the president, when he met the religious bodies, and every opportunity he had to meet them in opposition, he continuously referenced it. And even at campaign rallies, he continuously referenced it. When we see that, it gives the impression that this is a priority to President John Mahama. And the reason why it's a priority to John Mahama is because probably he has sensed that it's a priority of the Ghanaian people. And why he decided to address it at his rally, why he decided to address it when he meets the religious body. So why did the president respond to it or engage with it as a matter of priority when he was in opposition, but then become president and says, well, it's not a priority for Ghanaians, so we are not going to prioritize it?
Thank you. Did His Excellency John Dramani Mahama made mention that when he comes to power, whilst he was giving his manifesto, that in the first 1 year he would sign it? Did he tell us that?
Yes.
Please, I'm not asking you a question, so please relax. When you have your time, you can say it. He never used that word. Look, it takes process and procedures to do what he is supposed to do. Until now that we are talking, the parliamentarians, which we have NPP parliamentarians there, NDC parliamentarians there, and the, independent parliamentarians there, who are supposed to make sure that it has been passed for him to assign a signature to it, has not done that yet. And I am of a view that no matter what, in these 4 years, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will sign the bill. That is what assurance we have to give.
But if it is not a priority, that's the fear.
We had a manifesto given to Ghanaians. Give me our manifesto. Give me an LGBTQ manifesto that we said that in 1 year we will sign it. No, you see, be fair. No, let us try.
Yeah,
see,
but
I won't let us let minority come and dictate to us what we're supposed to do. We have promised the people of Ghana to deliver a certain promise. Let us measure ourselves with that particular promise. Are we delivering? Yes. Are Ghanaians trusting us? Yes. Do Ghanaians believe in us? Yes. Go out there and go and ask what people think about Excellency John Dramani Mahama about this LGBTQ, and everyone will tell you that yes, Excellency John Dramani Mahama will make sure he signs it. Everyone believes that out there.
So the
only the 42 or the 38 who don't believe in it.
So the commitment from you is that although it is not a very pressing issue, but before President Mahama leaves office, your assurance to the Ghanaian public
absolutely
that the bill will be signed.
Absolutely.
And if it is not signed before he leaves office?
The Ghanaians will not trust us again. We can go to Ghanaians and give them another promise again. That is what we are talking about. By the end of the 4 years of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, this bill will be signed.
Wow. He says they've got a 4-year term.
Yes.
All right? And before the 4-year ends, it will be signed. So have patience.
They have 2 years, 8 months to leave.
You don't have a problem with that.
2 years, 8 months to leave office. Now, I still can connect it that passing of the law will affect the priorities. How is that possible? It's just a law-making process, right? Send it to Parliament, they pass it into law, then the President signs it. How is that affecting our daily lives? How is that affecting the school that he's talking about? How is that affecting the bread and butter issues? No, they happen concurrently. He said, well, he mentioned a lot of things that we said in 2024. It was one of the reasons we lost the elections. Because people saw that indeed Akufo-Addo did not sign. I have been in mosque where you hear the imam preaching against it, praying that this thing shouldn't happen to us in this country. And that was how we lost the elections. We suffered for it. So you did not give a timeline, but the president said he will sign it as soon as practicable if he's elected. And that was what he said.
So you have no confidence in the fact that they will sign it?
They will not sign. There's no way this bill will even see.
Just because they didn't sign doesn't mean we will not sign it.
I'm saying that there's no way this bill will even see third reading for it to even be sent to the president for him to sign.
Okay, great.
The president is not committed to doing this because we all know his past relationship.
Ghanaians will judge it.
When he wrote his
Ghanaians will judge it.
Who was the one who did
we want us to go there again,
yes,
right?
The first coup d'etat.
Interesting.
When he wrote it, an advocate of gay rights was the one who launched the book. When the issue came up, Mahama Yarga, as information minister at that time, said that it's not true. President Mahama doesn't even know him. And then it turned out that it is he rather lied because Andy Solomon is President Mahama's friend, and he launched that book for him.
Well, the president has got a 4-year term, so he's got about 2.
No, not 4 years. He has 2 years, 8 months to retire.
He's
to retire as president of Ghana.
And 2 years,
yes.
no matter how. No, you see, I don't even get my brother. He has every right, audacity to talk about this once he's president. Had the opportunity to sign, and this case will be closed. But they didn't do it.
But you
enjoyed that.
We will do it.
Okay, great. But another issue, which of course the minority, we haven't heard much from them relative to it. I mean, of course, it's been a little, talk here and there about it, but they haven't spoken authoritatively on this very development yet. No statement, particularly from Parliament, has come from the minority on this matter yet. But it's the biggest news now because the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources have handed the Diamond Mine gold mine to engineers and planners, and it's a company owned by Ibrahim Mahama, and of course he is going to be taking charge of this. Now, a group, Lands and Mines Watch Ghana, they have welcomed the decision to award the diamond mining lease to engineers and planners, describing it as a bold and necessary step toward genuine Ghanaian participation in large-scale mining. Now, you remember that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources did open the application to all companies interested in acquiring the lease, and I think about 5 companies did apply for it. And after a scrutiny of all the 5 companies, it was ENP who scored the highest, who met pretty much all the criteria, for which reason they've been given the lease to mine in it. We understand that the mine, we're talking about almost about 18 billion Ghana cedis, $18 billion, I believe, that the Daily Gist newspaper is quoting as, $15 billion is what the mine is likely to generate. And there's been some, conversation surrounding it. Even the former Chief Justice Sophia Akufu said, well, for her, as long as it is given to a Ghanaian, she really doesn't care who the Ghanaian is. As long as it's a Ghanaian who is being given the lease, then she will support it. And like I mentioned, another group has shown support for that. We'll be going on Zoom to engage the group, the Lands and Mines Watch Ghana, and to hear from them why they support this move. Now, we have also got Kwame Owusu-Danso, is the president of Accountability Forum. He's also a lawyer. He's joined us via Zoom. Let me just touch base with him now. Lawyer, good morning.
My greetings to Awal Mohammed and I don't know the other gentleman.
Yeah, Abdullah. His name is Abdullah.
Very well.
Yeah.
So special good morning to them. And let me state that I am the executive director for Lands and Mines Watch Ghana. It's a group that has lawyers, mining engineers, etc.
And how long has it been in operation?
From 2023.
Okay. Now, we've seen your statement, and you are backing, EMP award, and you make a number of arguments there that EMP is a defining national responsibility, and that you are charging EMP to demonstrate strong technical and operational capacity, and you say real local job creation and food transparency in financing execution, responsible environmental and community practices. These are the things you are charging them to adhere to. But fundamentally, though, why do you support this award that the ministry has handed to the company?
Well, thank you very much. I support it because I think the fundamental issue has been about local participation. And I think that has been rehashed by Madam Secretary. And so a prime expression of what all of us have been advocating for, that we must get to a point where Ghanaians will be able to take over their own natural resources, manage it, and then ensure that the management of state will yield some positive results for the development of this country. And so, EMP getting it is not a problem. I don't think it should be an issue. Nobody should raise red flags in respect of same. I think that if you look at the criteria, particularly the LI 217, from 258 all the way down to 262 thereabout, there are some requirements which ought to be met by all the people who decided to tender. There are mandatory requirements, there are technical requirements, there are financial requirements. So it's more like in phases. So the first phase is when you have been able to meet all the mandatory requirements, the VAT, the plate, the procurement certificate, and the demonstration that you can pay the 100,000 Ghana cedi registration requirement itself. Then the second phase is the technical capacity phase. Which also means that you should be able to demonstrate that you have the technical capacity to be able to execute. So, i.e. equipment, i.e. done your risk assessment, etc. So all those ones have to be met. Then, if you're able to meet the two requirements, then it takes you to the finance, it goes to the financial capacity. So if you have not been able to meet the second threshold, it means that you cannot cross over to the third threshold. Now I was present when the ministry invited the media to be there. I represented my organization, and so I was able to go through that. Now I did ask them a very important question, that what went into the evaluation. So I needed them to reiterate or rehash to the good people of Ghana what really went into the evaluation, for which reason engineers and planners were successful in that regard. And then they went through and explained years of experience, for instance, technical knowledge, presence, so those were the contributions that we had. Now, in the final analysis, I think we are all looking for a local industry or a local company, a local business that will be able to take over the mine and ensure that they inject a lot of capital into it so that we can replicate it. Now, Tom Joseph was talking about, I think you mentioned the news, but I was talking about the revenue realization from the general operations of the mines. Yeah. But they failed to highlight what immediately ought to be expended in order that to be able to resuscitate the mine. So we are looking at some 1.5 billion at the very outset. And this 1.5 billion is one that you are injecting into the mines without necessarily realizing some revenue in the final analysis. So that is also very important. We are investing so much, but we don't even know when we are going to get money from or revenue from the mines. So we have to look at it from that perspective. And that albeit that is the engineers and planners which have gotten the actually, let me make this point. That it is only a recommendation. The ministry has not yet given concession, because now they have to go through the second phase of applying for the leagues, they have to go to parliament and all of those things. So it's just a recommendation. So we have not, or the ministry has not really concluded. They have what we are saying.
Well, a statement from the ministry yesterday.
Relax,
in fact, I have the press statement here. It says government upholds competitive tender outcome for diamond mining lease, and it says that in the first paragraph that the ministry hereby informs the public that the ministry has today received the reports of the tender committee, and they say that pursuant to the regulations, the commission had recommended the lease be granted to engineers and planners, and the recommendation has been approved by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So the ministry has approved the recommendation, and the lease has accordingly been awarded to ENP.
Okay, right. I mean, again, a fine expression what I've been saying. Our position from the very outset has been that ENP should be given the opportunity to think about the diamond mines. So this is not different from...
Yeah, so I mean, based on your text also, I think one of the concerns that had arisen in the past have to do with the diamond community itself and how much it has benefited from the resource in years past. What do you think could be done by ENP to properly improve the community, ensure that the community is able to benefit from the mine, when it comes to social amenities, job creation for the local indigenous, etc., and maybe not just Damine, but even surrounding communities and maybe the region at large?
Good question. And I think that if you look at the conversations that went into the considerations, one of such is what we have highlighted, that the resources within those communities must necessarily benefit the people who live within those communities. And I share in your position that I have been to Daman, and it is as bad as any other mining community. So I want to believe that because engineers and planners is a Ghanaian-owned business, their attention and focus will be about beyond mining within that region. It's also ensuring that the people who live within those communities will benefit from it. Now, we as journalists, we as civil society organizations, etc., should ensure that we follow through and make sure that engineers and planners is able to bring the development that the people need within those communities. We will now question and criticize them. So that is what really we should begin to do. And I'm sure in the next foreseeable future, we'll be able to now see some development brought to the people within those communities.
All right, thank you very much, Kwame Danso, for your time this morning. Really appreciate your input.
Thank you.
On the show. Well, Kwame Danso is the Executive Director of Land Mines Watch Ghana, and he's been joining us on that. Well, let me come into you. Wow, when he was speaking, I could hear you, jittering a bit and making some comment. What's your position on this? Do you support this move?
You rightly asked the right question, that he was trying to mislead the public that indeed that process hasn't ended. So I was happy when you read for him to understand that indeed we're doing public education. I don't have anything against engineers and planners taking over any concession in this country. Let me just put that as a caveat. Again, I think giving it to indigenous Ghanaian company is the right thing to do. However, I have a lot of questions to ask, and I think this is a clearly sweetheart deal that has been prepared and given to engineers and planners, and I have my reasons to say this.
You say it's a sweetheart deal that has been given to
the engineers and planners just because the owner of engineers and planners is the brother of the president.
But except there was a process.
Okay.
And so and we know for a fact that we had companies like Vortex Resource Mining.
I'll come there. I'll come to even the companies. I'll come to the companies.
Goldfish Limited.
Yes.
You had companies like Maripoma Mining Services.
Yes,
Limited.
I'll come to that.
All going to
If you give me the opportunity, maybe 5 minutes uninterrupted, I should be able to justify this. So one thing I'm saying is that I am not against Ibrahim Mahama taking over any mining.
Yes, you made that point.
But you see, what led to these processes? It was after the minister announced earlier that they are giving the concession to Ibrahim Mahama to operate, that the minority held a press conference in Parliament led by Honorable Aprechum, MP for Asante Mampo, and said that no, it shouldn't be sole source. It should be on competitive tender. So that even if you're giving to a Ghanaian, there are Ghanaian companies who have the capacity to do that. So he did that. Then within few weeks, we heard that they had opened the tender. When they opened the tender, they opened it for 7 days. Tender is open in this country for 30 days. But they opened it for 7 days. And in the tender document, they listed things that, from all indications, it was tilted towards Ibrahim Mahama. Number one is that ahead, even when Kwame Danso was talking, he still reiterated the fact that the minister was saying that when they did the technical evaluation, they disqualified the Health Goldfish Ghana, right? The rest were disqualified after the opening of the tender documents. But it left with Health Goldfish and EMP. And they had to open it and start the technical evaluation. And they said the Health Goldfish did not.
Goldfield.
Is it Heath? Okay.
Yeah, Heath.
Heath Goldfish did not qualify technically. So they didn't even open their financials to see what is in the financials. Now, the question I am asking is, the Heath Goldfish has the capacity than engineers and planners. Engineers and planners has history of being a subcontractor for over 20 years. That is not in doubt. But engineers and planners had never produced a single ounce of gold in this country. Not even one. They are contractors who dig and control debt. That is what they do, basically for the last 20 years. The Heath Goldfish took over the Bogosum mines and they have started producing gold. And you're telling us that the company that was employed to dig and will not process, whether the person makes a profit or doesn't make the profit, they will be paid for doing that. And they are under instruction to dig. and the one who is operating a mine that was abandoned for years, as at February, they have started pouring out gold from Bogosu. That company does not have the technical acumen to operate the mines, but the one who had never processed gold has that acumen to do that. You could tell that indeed they only gave it to engineers and planners without necessarily looking at that technical competence. That is one.
But maybe, just on that point about technical competence, I mean, yes, you can talk about the specific role that EMP had played at the Diamond Mile over the years, but you can also discount the fact that just by playing that role, they have probably picked experience from their collaboration with their partners at the time. And also within that period, they've built their capacity and put themselves in a good place to equally do the job that their partners were doing.
So if we were to understand this, engineers and planners took over the Black Volta Gold, right? What's the name of the company? The Black Volta. They took over last year. They are yet to produce an ounce of gold. They took over last year in a controversial deal. Today they have jumped to take their mine again. They still have not produced a single gold. You see, when you have producers, I know producers who have done production for over 20 years. Does that mean the person can host a show? No.
But I mean, mining is not producing.
That's what I'm saying. That the mining engineers and planners were contracted to dig and control debt. That's all. They don't process gold. They don't do anything. They are under instruction. They tell them, this is what we want you to do. They will do it, pick them for them. Then they will go and process it and make profit.
What about a situation where, just like engineers and planners...
I'm just comparing two companies. One has taken over a company as early as 2025 and is producing gold today. Engineers and planners has taken over another company in the northern region and has not produced an ounce of gold. The same company is going to run the diamond mines, and they have refused to give that company, they have even refused to even check the financials of the company that is doing well in terms of producing gold.
So your problem with it fundamentally is what I'm trying to...
My problem is that Ghanaians should understand that, one, the companies that were left, the two companies that were left, one has the track record, as at February had produced gold. One does not have a track record of producing gold. But they said when they did the technical evaluation, the one with the technical, the one who has been able to produce gold has been disqualified to be given to the one who hasn't been able to produce gold, even after taking over a mines for more than a year, for almost a year in the northern region. That is one. Two is that when you look at the evaluation panel, it is laughable. Because you see, the person who okays that deal is the minister, right?
Yeah.
And he's an appointee of the president. The man in charge of the technical evaluation, Professor Otinjesi, is an appointee of the president. He's the board chair of Forestry Commission. The other person on the bill is the Minerals Commission CEO, who is also an appointee of the president. Then you have Domahini, who has just been recently appointed as an appeals court judge by the president. And you had MPs. They sat on this evaluation and did that evaluation and gave it to Ibrahim Mahama and said Ibrahim Mahama's company qualifies. So this, what I say, is a sweetheart deal. I am telling you the truth. Again,
now let me
you see,
okay.
Engineers
just land for me so I
has not also committed a dime. He only used the diamond mines to get to Stambik and APSA to guarantee him a loan of 505 million. We didn't even open the other competitor to find out where they are getting, whether they are even doing 1 billion. You heard Kwame Danso, who said that in order for you to get the mine running, you need at least 1.2 billion. He said 1.5, but when you check the records, it's 1.2 billion to put into that mines to make it productive. Now he has only used as a collateral to go to this bank to get. So engineers and planners had not committed a dime in it. They only had a guarantee from ABSA and Stanbic that they will really support them with 505 million.
And
so,
that is normal, isn't it? So, I mean, it's normal to get guarantees from banks for such heavy projects. It's a normal thing companies do.
The technical evaluation committee did not help this country, because if they had opened the financials of the other people, we might know what will happen. You remember this NDC has this.
All right, please land for me so I can come
this,
to
the takeover of ECG. They disqualified BSc. They took us to court. We had to go and negotiate and take that because BSc was a Chinese company. And they gave it to the Philippines company after we took over and so on. So what I'm saying is that the NDC that pride themselves on probity, accountability, and social justice today has queued to give the gold concession to Ibrahim Mahama. He has taken over one, has not been able to produce gold. He has taken over another one. He has not still. We don't know whether he will be able to produce the gold today. Omar Hene, your colleague, on Adum FM is saying that even the Yinahini mines, 2 Ghanaian companies had submitted bid for the Yinahini mines. They're not being given. They are still waiting for Ibrahim Mahama to bring his Eston Cubic to take the Yinahini mines again. Okay,
Abdullah, let me come to you. And just before I come to you, I want to read something here, an excerpt from the statement that was released by the ministry. And it mentioned that, so in the second page, that the 4 tenders referring to Vortex Resource Mining Group, Engineers and Planners Limited, Heath Goldfields Limited, and Maripoma Mining Services Limited. He says the 4 tenders were examined in accordance with mandatory requirement set out in phase 1, which states that if any tender fails to comply with any of the mandatory requirement, it shall result in the tender being disqualified and not to be considered for further evaluation. And they listed the mandatory requirement, and they said, 1, there has to be proof of wholly owned Ghanaian registered company registration document indicating current directors, shareholding, and beneficial ownership. They must have valid tax clearance certificate, valid SNIT clearance certificate, valid VAT clearance certificate, valid certificate of incorporation, and the payment of an application fee of 100,000 Ghana cedis. And it says that following verification, going through all these mandatory requirements, only Engineers and Planners Limited and Heath Goldfields Limited met the mandatory requirement. Yes. Maripoma Mining Service Limited and Vortex Resource Mining Group were disqualified as non-responsive for failing to submit the required document. Then it goes on to say that pursuant to Regulation 260, the 2 responsive tenders were submitted to the Tender Committee for Technical and Financial Evaluation. And following the technical assessment, Heath Goldfields Limited failed to achieve the minimum qualifying score of 80%. And its financial proposal was therefore not evaluated in line with the notice. The ministry commenced the commission, and it goes on, and in fact goes on to say that ENP did meet that technical evaluation and even scored some 93% there. So that's it from the.
Never produced even a goal.
That's it from the ministry. But Abdullah, I mean, you can understand the concern here having to do with the optics. The optics. This is the brother of the president.
Yes.
And coming from your party, which had issues with certain members of the Nana Akufo-Addo government, and this tag of family and friends and all of that, you can understand the difficulty having to do with the optics, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry for Ibrahim Mahama. I think being the president's brother has affected him a lot. Because I don't know why. Yes, because Awal is my brother. Because of that, Awal should be denied a contract. Because I'm an NDC member and Awal is my brother. So automatically, Awal should be denied
It's
a
a
contract.
conflict of interest.
How?
You understand? It's a conflict
When
of interest.
EMP was doing mining in Ghana, His Excellency,
engaged in mining
please.
No, we're doing education.
No, not education. When you were misinforming the people, I was sitting quietly without talking. I allow you to flow, even though I was not happy you were doing that. But I was mute here. So please, my brother, just relax. The truth of the fact is that EMP is 25 years in Ghana, and they have concentrated fully in mining, and they have been with Goldface for all this while. Almost 100% of equipment and all other assets are being, like, it's for EMP doing all their job. And look, the track record is there. You can't argue about it. Technically, you can't argue about their experience in mining. Not only in Ghana, even in Liberia. It is the biggest supporter of this mining in the whole Africa. And look, when we are talking about
support,
mining
support,
just relax, La. You were here when we were talking. I didn't say anything. Relax. Try to accommodate. Look, let me give you. I always like my people. Listen, this is parliamentary hazard. I know whether you're coming back and capture it. This is parliamentary hazard. And Wednesday, 4th November 2020. And this is, and let me go check the 001 papers. Mining lease agreement between GOG, which is Government of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and Electrochem Ghana Limited in respect of the Adan Songo Salt Project, Adan West Lease Area. Mining lease agreement between Government of Ghana by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and Electrochem Ghana Limited in respect of the Adan Songo Salt. Let me put this one aside. Now, let's come.
What's the correlation?
Please, allow me. Allow me, please. This is the former president of Ghana with McDan. Ghana to become net exporter of salt with establishment of Adan Songo project. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has said the establishment of the Adan Songo salt project is an example of what the government policies, backed by private sector participation, can achieve in Ghana quest to become self-reliant on its resources. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Adan Songo salt project has potential to transform domestic economy. President Nana Akufo-Addo commissioned Africa's largest salt production project. So you see, I am not ready to do politics with this particular topic. What I want to encourage we the youth, and my brother is a very solid youth that I know has a good future. Look, let us encourage our politicians to look strategically and intentionally empower our local entrepreneurs to be billionaires. Strategically, it will help us. Look, if you go into the books of Goldface and go and see the number of profits, the amount of profits they make in a year, and don't forget, this money don't remain in Ghana. They repatriate it back to their country. How many big industries in Ghana or companies in Ghana who makes multi-million dollar in Ghana are fully Ghanaian-owned companies? Look, other African countries deliberately, intentionally make sure they have rich and billionaires in their country. A clear example is Ali Dangote, the Boa Cement, all other, what's the name? Stancorp, Adenuga with the glow. They intentionally make sure that these people are billionaires. When we come to Ghana, we have Kosichum, we have Despite, we have Kennedy Japan, we have Magdan, we have how do you call it? UT Bank, Amwabeng.
So the point is that we need to support.
We need to support, and we need to stop this. Please.
Yeah, but you can understand the difficulty. Fundamentally, let me just ask this. Fundamentally, clearly, everybody believes that every Ghanaian ought to be given the freedom to, grow, to develop, make progress. And it's great to see Ghanaians prospering. But the difficulty that some are having is the posture you took about certain individuals in the past.
Such as?
I mean, they can talk about an individual like Ken Oforiatta and his data bank, all right, and the kinds of, I won't call it attack, which came to him because he was working for government at the time. Although prior to coming to government, he was doing his private business, and I even worked with the NDC in the past, but he came under a lot of attack, and people felt that he was benefiting from government, there is some conflict of interest issues. You can understand that is where the concerns regarding this very least is stemming from.
I understand you perfectly, but what we are talking about currently right now is that it's on record. Data Bank is still working in Ghana. No one is disturbing them. Enterprise Insurance is still working in Ghana. Nobody is disturbing them. Although we have issues with Ken Oforiatta, we are dealing with it. Data Bank is still working. They are still making numbers. Enterprise Insurance is still working. They are still making numbers. That is the difference between NPP and NDC. And I don't want us to even use NPP and NDC. I want my brother here to make sure that we all come together and join ourselves and make sure that the leaders stop this politicization of this is an NDC businessman, this is an NPP businessman. No, we should put that one aside. Look,
but you understand,
aside that, I'm coming. You let me finish. You please.
Okay,
let me
just land because
Look, it is not the sweeter politics that I'm doing. So I understand how it will not be favorable to people out there. But the truth is that for how long will we destroy our potential billionaires? Let us be intentional about these people. Don't let us break. Look, I feel so sad when today I see UT Bank. I am sad. This was a fine gentleman, a fine businessman, but a policy came to destroy his business. This former PPP, Pakwesi Indom, I feel so sad for Pakwesi Indom. Every single rural area in Ghana here has GT Bank. Today, where is GT Bank? We have destroyed a fine gentleman. We have destroyed UT Bank. Should we continue doing that?
GN Bank.
GN Bank. GN Bank. Yes. Should we continue doing this? No. Let us stop this politicization of businesses in Ghana.
Now, I want to
let's focus on their potential.
Now, there was an argument, there was a concern that was raised about the process. This, yes, you talk about the capacity of the president, brother, all right? He's worked with a number of the mining companies, and that is on record. He worked with Goldfields, he did work with the Diamond Mine company at the time, and all of that. But look at the process with the brother of the president involved. And that's why sometimes politicians and their family members are sometimes, kept from being directly involved in government business because of issues of conflict and interest. And he says, well, the minister who gave the lease is an appointee of the president. He serves at the pleasure of the president. A number of the members of the tender committee are appointees of the president. So the assumption is that, or the fear is that, these people will be seeking to please the president because his brother is involved. So in terms of the optics, you can understand the difficulty.
Yeah, I understand whatever they are saying, which I understand. Look, let me give you, this is Joy News. That says, information from Minerals Commission regarding insurance of lease of Electrochem Ghana for salt mining at Ada.
No, but in
relax. Relax. What you are saying is that
we're talking about
telling you about relax, please. It's talking about the minister being somewhat, the one who's supposed to sign being someone. In their respect, when they were giving the lease,
Magdan is not related to it.
Magdan is 100% related to the NPP.
Is he related to the president?
Look, you see, we are talking about NPP NDC here. We are not talking about.
You are not doing politics.
President. We are not talking about.
Yeah,
that.
but
the issue is that you see, that is why I'm finding it difficult because I don't want to do politics with this. Because when Magdan happened, I was so happy because a Ghanaian is doing good.
You were not happy.
Honestly, go and look at all my videos.
Okojeto Ablakwa said he was doing state capture.
Please.
And you have destroyed his company today.
I am here. And I'm talking to you here. And I want us to stop this thing. Every day must we come here and talk about what has happened. That is why I have, look, a lot of write-ups on it. If you are going to do investigation on when a whole government machinery went to Adan to go and support and help Magdan. to make sure that the indigenes who were crying foul, the indigenes who were being attacked, to minimize the attack, to talk and do PRO work for Magdan. This is what we are talking about.
So your position fundamentally is that we should get to a place where, whether it's the president brother, the president child, or however the person is related to the president or any politician, as long as they have the capacity to do a job, they should be given.
100%. 100%. Look, when
but you see that
when EMP, look, I'm coming. When EMP was getting his first contract, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was now becoming an MP. He was an assembly member.
No, that's not correct.
In 1990, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama came to the parliament in 1997. No, 1997. Yes. He came to power in 1997. Yes. And that same year, if you watch, in 1996, Ibrahim Mahama was already doing his
he was not.
Oh, please, my brother.
He was not.
My brother, relax.
Okay, see, if EMP is 25 years.
EMP registered their company in 1997 in Ghana here.
Yes, so when your brother was MP.
I'm coming, boss. Look.
Yes.
Sometimes, relax.
No, don't say that.
Sometimes, no.
We are speaking to facts.
And
I'm not saying that.
Am I giving you on, like, I'm not giving you facts here. I'm giving you facts.
You said he did that before.
When you use the word, when you use the word, no, listen to me. Look, when you use the word, when you use the word,
land for me.
Well,
yeah.
Look, we have given the NPP opportunity to have records down. My brother was talking about 7 days instead of 1 month. No problem. They should keep all those records down. Definitely, in the next 40 years that they will come to power, they should come and revisit all this. But truth is that we will protect Ghanaians. We will make sure Ghanaians own every single thing they're supposed to own. All our chiefs, all our elders are telling everyone that, look, prioritize Ghanaians. Give us the opportunity. We can make it. We are tired of allowing foreigners to come to Ghana, milk us, repatriate their money back, and still we are suffering.
All right,
we need the money to stay
I'm going to
Ghana.
come back to you. I'm going to come back to you to respond to, and the media relations officer for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Pakwasi Shandofi, will be joining us, and it's one of the questions I'll be asking him. And I'll come back to you to respond to that briefly. Awal, yeah, you.
But you can't give Awal a minute once I'm not done. No, you spoke about 3 hours.
No, I mentioned that.
He said you come back to you. So
Awal, do 1 minute. I'll be looking at it.
What I'm saying is nobody in NPP is against a Ghanaian owning a company in this country. We launched the Ghana Beyond 8. What was the nucleus around the Ghana Beyond 8? For Ghanaians to take charge of the things that we have in this country. But we're saying that the right thing must be done. If Amwabi and Indum, their companies, were taken from them just because of politics, you could have reinstated their licenses today.
We are working on that. We'll do it. We are working on that. We are working on that. We'll do it.
The Bank of Ghana. You're not the governor of the Bank of Ghana.
You're not campaigning. You're not really on a campaign platform. You are on a serious platform. The Governor Bank of Ghana is saying that it's not possible. And you're here saying that we're doing what? What are you doing?
It's not possible how?
I'm saying that.
No, you see, it's not possible how?
Will not get their license.
No, I'm coming.
The matter is still in court anyway.
You understand?
So much.
They will not get it. He said it's not practically impossible. But you promised them that.
But at the moment, the matter is still in court. So yeah, I mean, the government cannot do it. It's still in court.
You don't get. No, you see, my brother is not getting something here. Okay, no,
hold on.
You said we are doing education. You said that.
If it were to be politics, you could have reinstated the licenses for them.
It was purely politics.
But why are you able to?
No, it was purely politics.
That is what. Who is that?
It was purely politics.
You see, Magdan, when he started his business years ago, and when he was given these concession and even the Terminal 2, the Terminal 1, what happened? You had Okujeto Ablakwa organizing press conferences to say that is state capture.
That's exactly what you are doing now. Exactly what you are doing now. That is what you are doing now. And that is what I want us to stop.
When they came,
that is what you are doing now.
When they won the elections before.
And it will continue every time.
Before handing over, they tried to halt his business and said that he had a lot of debt. He came with a press conference to say that indeed there were debts, but not to the tune that they were talking about in Spain. Then by May, they had to close it down. They went to court, and he went to court and challenged what they did in the court. Just about 2 months ago, they have destroyed his warehouse. The government has destroyed his warehouse, and they are taking over the place. And you're telling us that you are promoting indigenous businesses.
You see, No, you see.
You understand? So you don't even need to bring this thing. You see, the difference between Ken Ofori-Atta and this one is that Ken Ofori-Atta was appointed a minister of state. There is nowhere, there is no document to state that indeed any strategic asset has been given to any of the relatives of President Akufo-Addo. But today, we have the black gold in the Upper East region given to Ibrahim Mahama. Today, we're giving him Damai mines. Ken Ofori-Atta was really accountable to the people of this country. Ibrahim Mahama is not accountable to the people of this country. That's the reason at a point in time when they felt that Ken Ofori-Atta had done something, they invited him to Parliament to come and explain issues. Ibrahim, no. And that's what we're saying, that the optics don't look good. And again, the technical committee that sat down to do it just cooked a sweetheart deal and gave it to him because he's the president.
All right, Abdullah, just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
I would love that same committee to cook a sweetheart deal, more of it to Ghanaians, because we need more Ghanaians to have that sweetheart deals. Look,
I think that
we should stop the NDC, NPP
today,
killing
we
entrepreneurs.
will not stop that.
If we are not stopping that, then all of us we will not stop that today. We will not stop that tomorrow.
The cane you used to
but the issue is that
there will be the same cane that
you and I have the next 20 years to know whether it is good for us to stop it today or not. Look, we should stop politicizing
the right thing must be
We should stop destroying entrepreneurs. We should have intention of making billionaires as Ghanaians or in Ghana here. Well, simple as that.
Interesting. I can imagine a lot of you have been sending your comment coming through. We'll be looking at some of them. But one major international event that's unfolding at the moment have to do with the U.S., Israel, and Iran war. Of course, yesterday, most of you, if you have been following the issues surrounding it, we're waiting to see what President Donald Trump was going to say, because he did give an ultimatum, 8 p.m. U.S. time. He was going to wipe out a whole civilization, he said. And of course, the Pakistan Prime Minister, who was leading the mediation effort, did indicate that they need at least 2 weeks for some negotiation to continue. Well, President Donald Trump yesterday did indicate that he has agreed to the 2-week ultimatum, and ceasefire has been agreed, and the Strait of Hormuz has been opened for oil cargo to pass through. Richard Kumondo is a security risks consultant and fraud prevention expert. He's been following this matter very closely, and he's joined me on phone to educate us more about this very issue. Mr. Richard, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I mean, help us understand at the moment, based on the things we have heard from the White House and from the Iran leaders, what does this mean for us as Ghanaians? Because while they were fighting, our fuel prices were rising.
For us as a nation, Ghana, our priority is to ensure that we have enough oil in our tanks, in our reserve tanks. My brother Edoji spoke about our reserve numbers. He talked about 6 weeks and 8 weeks for petrol and diesel. To the extent that we can have oil prices moving from 117 to about 93, it means that the knockdown effect on prices at the pump is going to be good, not just for Ghana, but most parts of the world who depends solely on oil from foreign nations to fuel their pumps and to fuel their tanks and for businesses and all that. And so that is a good news in a brief. What we also need to do as part of our national sovereignty and national security determination is to strike deals with our neighbors and make sure that we can have a continuous flow just after the 2 weeks, because it's not going to get to normalcy where we were before the war started.
I mean, on a geopolitical level, though, how do you perceive this war probably ending? Of course, the ceasefire has been received with some appreciation, especially for most people who are being affected by this war. But, I mean, analytically, though, what do you think the way forward could be?
I think on the side of the Iranis, there are only two people who can tell them to stop, and they will stop, and that is the alliance with the global south. So you are talking about Russia, you are talking about China, and that will play up at the UN Security Council. What it is now, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be with them for a very long time. Actually, they were controlling it before the war broke out officially, from what happened last year in the 12 days conflict between them and Israel and America. They are going to table it, and it's one of the conditions that they are going to own it forever. One of the things they also said is that there's going to be technical limitations, which means that if you are paying $2 million to pass, you might be paying same or less. But the countries, they don't want them to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. They are not going to allow them within the 2 weeks. On the part of the Israelis, they started it with America, and whatever the America tells them is what they are going to take. And so that is the geopolitical aspect of the two people directly involved in the war. For the rest, the British and the French have taken a different position, and that means that they've taken national interest above the alliance with NATO. And so it's also based on what happened in Iraq many years ago when they went into Iraq with Americans and it doesn't order well for them. And that is the other side of this whole angle. But then again, the question people are asking is, after 2 weeks, what is going to happen? What is going to happen is, the Americans are not going to agree with the 10 points the Iranians have sent, and the Iranians have objected to the 15 points the Americans have sent. It means that we'll be back to square one, and it means that the countries involved are also going to stockpile their arsenals again, and it means that if care is not taken, we are going to see the same firing power as we saw since the war broke. And that is where the world leaders must put themselves together and say, enough of this, enough, and let's have peace diplomatically and using dialogue. And if it means that the Africans must make their voice known as a collective group and making sure that they also speak concerning this, it will happen.
I mean, also going forward, is there anything the United Nations can do? We know that a resolution was mooted by the U.S. for the Strait of Hormuz to be open, but China and Russia did veto it. And to a very large extent, what that means is that the UN is almost becoming like a white elephant of some sort. The UN, or even beyond the UN, is there any organization that you think has some power enough to get these three actors to agree on something so that the world can enjoy some peace?
I think the Pakistanis are doing a good job. There's a later history to the Pakistanis and why they are the ones chosen to lead this delegation. The UN lack leadership, the UN lack credibility, the UN lack the power to bring order. And that is why if you look at it, the UN agencies in Lebanon and many places have been hit, and they don't have the tenacity to ensure that justice is brought, and those who did that are brought back to justice. It means that it's a dicey situation for the UN. But at the UN Security Council, the five people, one is at war with combining forces with Israel. The two other people are supporting Iran. And the two other persons, which is England and France, have taken personal decisions to protect their national interest, which means that you do not have any other body above these people to ensure that peace prevails and bombing stops. Pakistanis have always made it clear that anytime the Iranians would need their atomic bomb or their nuclear bomb, they are willing to make it available to them. And that is why you can understand why they are the best people to go to the table for this negotiation. We are hoping and praying that something good comes out of it. Other than that, it doesn't look good from what we are hearing and what we are seeing. And even if they stockpile and they start, the strategy, it doesn't seem to be unfolding for those who started the war. And the better we realize it and reassess and come to terms that we have lost the war, but we can make amends when it comes to losing the fight in the general terms. It will help everybody.
Well, Mr. Richard Akumedo, thank you very much. We really appreciate your insights on the show today. Well, I'm going to read some of your comments now, and then we'll wrap up the News Flash segment. I'm sure the comments are ready. There's been lots of them, and let's see what people have got to say about my guests' submission. Okay. let me see. Okay. Wow, that's quite a lot of them, right? Meshach Asante says, I wonder why some people still taking Tim Forjo serious. Was he not the same person who allegedly accused the government of dealing in cocaine and money laundering, which tend to be false at the end? I don't believe him a bit. Again, let me applaud President Mahama and his government for listening to the cry of his by importing 100 buses to support the transport system. This is what we call a leader with listening ears, unlike what we witnessed under the past NPP. This one says, Dear Razak, the hegemony of the U.S. is being felt globally as a result of the Israel-US-Iran war. The let's up in hostilities is going to ease the surge in crude oil prices to give a respite and to consumers in the interim. I therefore urge Mahama's government to take advantage of the ceasefire announced by Donald Trump to do strategic planning and thinking going forward to cushion Ghanaians. Good morning, Charles Champon Sefi there. This one says, I'm surprised that some of our countrymen and women, even the media, keep talking about 24-hour economy the wrong way. The 24 hour is about providing leadership to ensure private sector to sign on employee staff and benefit from incentives. Then he says, on the Daman mine, I was there on the invitation of Goldfields to train a section of the workers. EMP was then operating there. He has all it takes to undertake the operations of the Daman mine. I wish the party and politics would stop for Ghanaians to continue to work there. On the LGBT issue, when Parliament passes the law, we shall all know if the bill is passed into law and whether the president will sign it or not. He says, good morning to your panel members. The NDC has failed woefully. The NDC is talking about e-levy and LGBT, all the promises they said when they were in opposition. They should sign the bill and the unemployment situation and stop the propaganda. Ghanaians are suffering and business is not moving. Mamudu Mboko is saying that. Sir John was also Fantiako South. So good morning. Ghana's economy is on the upswing with NDC's forward-thinking policies. We are seeing real growth, hope and progress for all Ghanaians. Let's keep Ghana moving forward. Enough of MPP's empty promises and the blame game. NDC is the way to go for a brighter Ghanaian future, he says. Good morning, Mr. Host, he says. E-levy wasn't scrapped, but rather replaced by Doomsor Levy. Where is Sam George, JM, Speaker Bagwin, Catholic bishops? Are they in support of anti-LGBTQ? If no sign, if they don't sign in now, but the other countries, did they sign it or not? And this shows that JM and NDC are not against LGBT, he says. Good morning. I'm scandalized this morning just listening to NPP communicators, most especially Awal, asking NDC to do in 4 years what they couldn't do in 8 years. Hey, he says, I can see some, Moses Jr., Panini inside Keta. Okay, good morning. He says, please ask the NDC communicator, did he understand the word priority when the President Mahama said that LGBT is not the priority for the Ghanaian? He doesn't have the moral right to come and sit on TV station. Okay, interesting. This one says, good morning, Joy Prime. I am hurt this morning listening to Sakara. Ghanaians are now seeing their true nature. They made a whole lot of promises, and it is in government that they are explaining their unfulfilled promises to us. With the mines taken over by ENP, I'm not surprised at all. Why wouldn't they hand it to Ibrahim Mahama and his folks? Our president rides in his jet, so they must pay back. Now they are truly practicing their offered Ijapadia book, he says. Had him pick farm. So Awal and his Nagan People's Party think that so soon we, the good people of Ghana, have forgotten that it's rather Nado who refused to sign the LGBT bill into law. Awal and his party should respect Ghanaians small. Good morning to Dr. Ibrahim Mahama. May Allah bless and protect you all in all your endeavors. Well, quite a lot of comments there. Anyway, we've got to wrap it up now. And thank you very much for staying interactive. And, well, Sakara, the people are supporting you and people are also against you. It's normal, isn't it?
It's normal. Exactly, it's normal. But the only thing
as for LGBT, you would never.
Right? Sakra.
Yeah. The only thing I want to appeal to Ghanaians is that, see, Ghana doesn't lack anything, talent, wisdom, we have all. But the only thing that we lack is the ability to make sure that we are intention of building billionaires. And that is what we all need.
Okay,
so
I
my
think
brother should
that's
and
enough.
make sure that we build
Billionaires.
He has names of people who he wants us to build. Tell us, let's build them.
And
That is
build
what
them.
we need. Yes, my brother, like here, if he's
I think Awal will definitely mention.
we have to build Awal himself. Awal himself will have to be built. So that at least, yes, because look, the number of people that Awal take good care of in a society that I know is uncountable.
Okay, Awal,
You understand? And this is the time that you
I think it's down some 30 seconds, so do 30 seconds.
We are
and
not
let's leave it.
against any Ghanaian getting these benefits, especially when it's September, October, November, where they repatriate their profits and leave Ghana with exchange rate volatilities and so on. So definitely we will be happy. As I told you, we launched the Ghana Beyond Aid, and we felt that indeed indigenous businesses should be able to be supported. You came and cancelled that 1D1F. You said you are replacing it with 24-hour economy. Today, there is no single institution that is doing 24 hours. Your people are crying because they don't even have the jobs. The NDC has the penchant of doing a lot, lying to win elections. After that, they do not know how to implement the policies. And that is the reason why we are today.
Okay, well, that's it for News Flash.
Oh, just a minute. My brother here doesn't know that Central Group is now doing 24-hour.
Okay.
B5
Which is Central
Plus,
Group?
I'm coming. B5
What
Plus
is
now doing
Central
24-hour. Oh,
Central Oil.
sometimes
we'll
you
continue
there's no single company doing it, and I'm giving you the companies that are doing it.
Agency.
All right, guys.
But
Thank you very much.
Now you
We will continue.
We have Kapua, GPHA.
All right, Abdullah, we'll continue
let's
tomorrow.
look at the record.
Doing
We have
that
GPHA.
already
Well,
before you came to power.